Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. This is episode 242. Today's lineup will be interesting. We're going to start off with the Canmore 12-year-old single malt Scotch, followed by our shout-outs and get it together. A restaurant review, which is, I'm going to say, food court. And then our story challenge being our top three Kevin Smith movies, and possibly we'll toss in an honorable mention there. Real quickly, if you like our content, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what your favorite Kevin Smith movie is, and if you've tried this Scotch, let us know what you think about this Scotch as well.
Scotch Review.
This is the Canmore 12-year-old. Not a whole lot of history on this. So the Canmore Scotches are done by Charles Edge and Company. Charles Edge being the man behind the brand. He is the founder and has over 30 years experience in sourcing and selecting high quality spirits and wooden casks that they can be aged in through his sister company, Ethimax. Founded in 1999, which is interesting, so not that long ago. It is part of a global bulk spirit and premium ethanol supplier to international brands and craft distilleries worldwide. So this is an unannounced distillery that he has sourced this single malt from. We believe it's a Highland single malt Scotch, even though they don't give us a ton of details on that, but it'll be interesting to try nonetheless. This particular one, bottled at 40% ABV, aged those 12 years in ex-bourbon casks. It's always fun. Noah has picked out some really rare options for us in the past where independents had sourced single malts and added their own twist, and some of them, besides being super rare to a limit of roughly 600-700 bottles or less ever produced, were quite fantastic. So I'm guessing there is not a known tour.
You would be 100% correct, sir. No known tours or visitor centers that I am aware of.
Well, we're making this quick and easy this evening, so don't have to give you a whole lot of details beyond that at this point. Who knows? I haven't heard if Charles Edge might have some distillery dreams in his future, but otherwise, why spend the money if you can just make a great dram, if that's where his passion is? All right, ready to kick it off?
Sure.
All right, we got the Canmore 12-year, as mentioned, 40% ABV. It does come in a box. Thank you very much, Charles Edge and Company. We do appreciate that. It's a little bit thinner box, but it's got amazing color. Look at that flat black, gray, and the copper. I love that. I think that is absolutely fantastic. Makes me think like a room would go great in those colors. The bottle itself, very reminiscent of an Aberlour, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I kept on looking at these Aberlours behind me up there.
Yeah.
But then I was like thinking about Bunnahabhain, but I don't think it's like Bunnahabhain. I think it's more Aberlour.
Yeah.
Or the Aberfeldy.
Could be the Aberfeldy too. Interesting. Regardless, who knows? We may eventually figure out where he has, in fact, sourced this Scotch from. It's a good-looking bottle. It's got the same great colors as the box. We start with the foil. Nice thick foil. Again, the copper crown on the top. Perforated well, tears easy, pops right off. A nice solid wood topper, again with more copper. Charles Edge specially selected by Charles Edge on top. And we're going to try not to break the cork like we did last week with the Highland Park The Dark. There we go. Not twist it the wrong way. All right, solid wood top, but it does have a pressed cork. Again, might be tells though as far as where this was sourced from. Ooh.
You know, like Kilcolman, maybe?
That's a very similar bottle to Kilcolman too. Kilcolman. Kilcolman.
I don't think because I like the box as well.
Leaving us guessing, that's for sure you are, Charles Edge.
All right. Well, I guess it's time for our tasting notes and warp speed. So cheers.
Cheers.
All right. This Canmore 12yr. What can we say? What can I say? I don't know. First off, the packaging. I really dig the. Here's my main issue with the packaging is like it feels like the box is kind of flimsy, but I do love the color and the copper foil, and I think you said what did you say that it would look really cool on there because I like
It
you
looked
said-
great with colors in a room.
yeah. I thought you said like runes, I think, at first.
Oh, no.
I'm like, okay, yeah, runes would probably look kind of cool, but yeah. Anyways, I do like the color of it, and honestly, even with the bottle and the gray labeling or the with the copper, that still looks really cool. I love how it has a wooden top. So I give it a 4 out of 5 for the presentation. Nothing over the top there. The color, I still gave it 5. I put it as like a nice, like orange copperish color. Uh, I really do like the coloring of it. And you can tell it has a little bit of like a sherry influence there because of that coloring. So I still gave the coloring 5 out of 5. The nose, here I put orange with chocolate, mild barley, and hints of apple. The nose for me was kind of muted a little bit, and I had a hard time trying to like pinpoint some stuff. I think there might have been a little bit of floral notes in there as well. So I only gave the nose 25 points. The palate here I have it's a fleeting front palate of notes of creaminess, oak, apple, orange, caramel. There is mild vanilla throughout the palate from the front to the mid, and even going into like the back palate. And I think actually the palate is probably its high point here, which is I gave 26 points to. The finish, it's medium in length with notes of chocolates, mild berries, toffee, wood, and there's also like a little bit of like white pepper warmth to it as well. Um, I actually really did like the finish as well, and but I still only gave the finish 25 points, and that gives us a grand total of 86 points. Is this a one that I take to Black Tie Fair? No. Is it one I would share with a game night? And honestly, I'm going to say no here too. Because there are other bottles in the same price range I'd rather like share at game night than this one. So does it have a spot on your shelf? I'm going to say no. Once again, I think there's other bottles in the same price range that I'd rather have on my shelf than this one. And is this a bottle that I would celebrate a victory or a loss to? And the only way I'm going to say no here once again. Is it worth a try? I'm going to say yeah, it's worth a try though, ultimately. So if you're looking to like try something new, try something different, it's not that it's a bad scotch. It's just not like one that I would like. It's not a go-to scotch. So I do think it's worthy of a try if you never tried it before. But like I said, like after you tried it once, I don't think you need to go back and revisit it again.
All right. Well, my scores are not so dissimilar. The packaging, 4 out of 5. Um, yeah, I love the colors, but it's not quite that 5. 4 out of 5 there. Color, though, I agree. This is a 5 out of 5 for color. I call it orange gold. It is a beautiful orange gold color, and like it's fun. It's a luminescent orange gold on the nose. The Scotch has definitely opened up over the last 30 minutes. When we first opened it, I was not impressed at all. But now it's actually got some character on the nose. There's some chocolate, some biscuit, creamy vanilla, the slightest hint of green apple. I get a tiny floral note and just a little bit of orange zest. I gave the nose a 26. On the palate, also a 26. The palate here is interesting. I don't know that I've had such a powerful and teasing palate before with the Scotch. Right at the front, it is robust, it is bold, and a second later, it diminishes at light speed. But at that very front of the palate, there's that. There is a creamy, chocolatey, caramely, some vanilla, everything delicious, and then it goes to a little barley, a little wood. I'm going to assume oak, a little orange zest. The biscuits come back, and then some pepper kicks in. And as we had discussed, I do believe it is white pepper. I gave the palate a 26 as well. I also gave the finish a 26, and it didn't start out that way. It was going to be the low point. It ends up being the same as the palate. The finish has spice up front. I get this floral, this mild floral note throughout, a little oak, some malt, some pepper, and then for me there's this ever so reminiscent flavor of Irish soda bread, something resting in there as it goes very dry in a very short period of time from such a sweet, smooth, creamy, silky palate front to a very mediocre flavor profile as the palate's finishing, and then the finish does kick in, and again there's some good flavor there, but it goes dry very quickly. I still give it a 26 on the palate, so overall we've got an 87. Black tie, no. Game night, no. Spot on shelf, I'm not moving something else over to make room for this. And is it the winning Dram? No, it's not a Dram I'm going after and enjoying or after a win.
It's time for our shout-outs.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna leave it alone. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it alone.
Next, the restaurant review.
Yeah, I don't know. How did you want to approach restaurant review?
Noah's challenge here was to enjoy the mall, and in particular, the food court, as is referenced and used in the Kevin Smith film Mallrats. And so that is exactly what we did. We each ventured on our own to the mall and perused the mall while enjoying some food, in particular at the food court. What'd you think?
Well, first off, yes. I think in the movie Mallrats, there's a conversation about what is determined to be part of the food court and what is a snack area. So food court is any restaurant or that's any designated food area, I guess is how he says it in Mallrats. I could be slightly bit off on that quote, but um, in that case, that left us so a few options to try there in the food court. I tried Renzio's Greek food. Got their combo number one, which is a traditional gyro with tzatziki sauce and feta cheese, and a soda and fries. I actually thought it was well, first of all, the portions were a fairly sizable portion. I couldn't even eat all my food. I had to throw away like half my fries because like they give you so much fries. And the gyro was actually really decent. I thought it tasted really great and had nice flavor with the tzatziki sauce and everything else that was in there. So pleasantly surprised by the that food there. It probably didn't help that I also had some pretzel bites from Winsel's Pretzels, which had nice amount of like butter and salt on there and stuff like that. And honestly, they might be challenging for my number one pretzel bites, pretzel bites, which usually I like over at AMC movie theater. Oddly enough, I think these ones might actually be better. But anyhow, for the food, those are the two things I had while I was there. I contemplated getting a drink from Orange Julius slash Dairy Queen, but I did remember that I had an Orange Julius a while back, a few years ago, and I didn't really like it as much as I used to when I was a kid because they had changed the ingredients. And I remember talking to Jesse about this, and he's the one who brought up the fact that they didn't use raw egg in it anymore. And that's probably what it was. That was the difference maker of why I didn't like it way back, well, I think like 5, 6 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. And when he pointed that out, I'm like, oh, that's probably like one of the flavors I was missing from what used to make it so nice and frothy and taste really good. Uh, Any case, as far as points go, the exterior, because it is in a nice looking mall and a nice area, I gave it an 8. The parking was in abundance. And where I parked, it was like almost kind of like a parking garage type thing. So I had cover and stuff like that. So if there was any kind of bad weather, my car would be protected. However, to get from where I was at, the parking garage, I had to walk across like a small little area to get the food court area. So I would still be hit by the inclement weather if there was any. But nonetheless, I gave it 8 points for the exterior. The interior, honestly, I really love the interior of the food court. It almost has like a very warm, I'm going to say kind of a cabinish feel to it. There's like stone fireplaces. There's ample amount of seating. There's some areas where it's like cushioned seating with like just like chairs. There's other areas where it's like kind of like high top seating. There's even like a small area where like parents can sit with their kids and like there's like a little play area there. Which honestly I think is kind of great. And like there's a bunch of room, and so I gave that 8 points as well. The food, honestly, the gyro and the fries I received, I thought I actually really did enjoy it. Um, it wasn't the best gyro I had, but also wasn't the worst gyro. It was actually pretty solid in flavor. The fries, though, I don't know what they seasoned the fries with, but I did really enjoy the fries line. I didn't have to add salt to it, and I didn't have to add ketchup. So that made it really nice with that. So I did give the food a 7. The service, I gave service a 5. And mostly because like it's a food court. It's not like they did anything special for me. Nobody cleaned it up. No one delivered. The nice thing here, even though like some fast food places ask you to tip now, they did not ask me to tip. So I was very happy and pleased about that. But still, service I gave a 5. Value overall, I give it a 7. Food was good. Service is what you expect from a food court. Interior, exterior were nice. Would I go back there again? Well, yeah, if I'm at the mall, I would mind like eating maybe something from that place again, or maybe another one of the places there in the food court area. But overall, my total points were it was a 7. So
All right, not so bad. Well, my adventure started out a little different. I did not go to Renzio's and enjoy Greek. I actually stopped first at Nori, Japan, and after Mira Moon, a recent restaurant where we had some phenomenal, probably the best crab cheese wontons I can find. Uh, I saw the cheese wontons at Nori, Japan, and I was like, okay, we got to test, we got to try. And they were wontons. The service there was okay. They got it out to me fairly quickly. They were very not great in comparison to the previous experience. But after that, that was the simple one there. I was going on my own little adventure. So my next stop, I didn't want to do the Chick-fil-A. Like, I think they do things pretty consistent. The Renzio's, after hearing about how big the food was, I didn't want to go that big. So I popped over and got just a regular pepperoni cheesesteak over at Charlie's Cheesesteaks. And it was actually really good. The pepperoni added just enough flavor. I had everything that normally comes on it on it. The cheesesteak was actually really good. Now, here's where the struggle is. When we've been to Philly, there's a difference. Like, I don't even, especially when you've been to one of the big ones in Philly, or both of the big ones in Philly, there's a difference. So it was a good Colorado cheesesteak. It was not a Philly cheesesteak, but it was still good. Then I wanted a little sweet, and I thought I was going to be able to just keep on eating. By the way, that cheesesteak, the regular, which was about $15 also, came with fries that were very good, came with a drink, and they gave me a free refill Diet Coke. I love the Diet Coke. All great, but very filling, far more filling than I thought it was going to be. So then I proceeded over, because I was like, okay, we talked about Orange Julius. Says, man, I want an old school Orange Julius, but I'm not doing that either. Let's go get a shake from Shake Shack. So I bounced over to Shake Shack and I got their True Love shake, but I had some malt added. So it was actually the True Love malt. Now what this is, it's a crackable crust, chocolate crust inside the cup. And then they fill it with the strawberry flavored custard, again, added the malt, and then they top it with some chocolate whipped cream and some little chocolate chunks. It was delicious. It was
really good.
It was freaking phenomenal.
I want to go get one.
Dude, it was literally freaking phenomenal. It was so much fun, and to the point where even as I was eating it, I'm like, how the hell am I going to get the chocolate off the side of the cup? But as I had drinking half the shake and I started to like just press on the plastic cup, all the chocolate literally cracked up in these giant
That's going to
flakes.
be my next question. Like, was it plastic or foam or paper?
It was plastic. And so like I broke off the chocolate pieces. I popped that top off and just grabbed these great big pieces of chocolate. Delicious. So damn good. And then I proceeded. So as I had first entered the mall, I went from, I guess it would technically be the south side by Nordstrom, and I proceeded north to the food court. And after my food court experience, I really did want some Wetzel's pretzel bites. But I was just like, damn, I'm pretty damn full. I gotta go double check on Mrs. Fields though, because even when we were kids, Mrs. Fields were in every damn mall. And so I proceeded and found the Mrs. Fields, and I got myself one of their vanilla butter cream cookies with M&Ms. They call it the sugar butter cookies with M&Ms.
You know, their chocolate chip cookies are so good. Like when they come out, it's like super hot and it's all melty still.
Yeah. I would have done one of those, but here's the hilarious part of my Mrs. Fields experience. Good thing I was drinking this shake, because I walk up and there's 3 groups of people in line in front of me, and I'm like, all right, damn, this place is hopping. And I take a couple minutes, and then I look and I take my picture of the outside, and I take a couple minutes and I look and I'm like, where the hell is this person? And I see the sign posted on top of the counter, back in 10 minutes. And I'm like, this is literally a mall rats experience. Then you put that sign up and freaking disappear. Almost another 15 minutes goes by after that. People would come and go. Yeah, all the other people had left, except for one, and she was desperate, spent about $40 on cookies, which I was impressed on. I'm like, I would spend $3 on one cookie, and it was delicious. It was, as I remembered, it was a great cookie, but you're right. Had they had fresh cookies, I would have absolutely gone chocolate chip because, man, again, back in the day, I feel like every hour on the hour you could count that they had fresh chocolate chips, or maybe they were just always making them, and there was always like fresh, warm chocolate chips.
I don't know, like it always seemed like whenever I went there was always like warm, fresh chocolate chips, and getting one from there was awesome.
Yeah, just the chocolate, like just still melty in your mouth, delicious. But the cookie was phenomenal. It was fun, and it made true to the Mallrats experience with the whole sign and the people coming and going and leaving and being pissed off because they wanted their damn cookie now, and then the attendant coming over and being like dismayed and put out that there's actually people in line waiting to pay her paycheck. Like, I'm just like, yeah. Whatever, like, I get it.
She was the video guy from Mallrats.
Exactly. So I'm continuing around. I visit the rest of the mall. The things I will say about the mall is I still really enjoy walking the mall, especially if I'm looking Lou. Some of the stores I hit up, Crate and Barrel, and I wanted to drop a ton of money, but I'm like, okay, I don't need to go buy all this stuff today. Tons of shops with lots of memories. The Lego store, of course. The $230 Ferrari Lego was calling me. Somehow I resisted all of these things. But then I also remembered I always wanted to go check out this Nordstrom Bar and Grill. So I went and proceeded and eventually found Nordstrom's Bar and Grill, which
where is it actually? Because I was to go look for it, and honestly, like when I saw that their coffee shop outside being closed out, I didn't bother to really go.
You can't access it from outside the store. You have to be inside the store, and it's on the third level.
Okay.
So you go up the third level. It's there. It's not as spectacular as I would have thought visually, but the service was great. I had a drink. It was delicious. It was fun. And then I proceeded to exit the mall looking at a bunch of clothes I wanted to buy. But I was like, I want to lose 10 more pounds before I keep on go shopping again. I have so much. My closet's the size of most people's bedrooms, and it's full. So I don't need to be shopping for clothes unless I find something spectacular. Save that money and buy something on vacation. But overall, exterior an 8. They do a nice job at Park Meadows. Interior an 8. As far as food courts go, the fireplace and everything else they have, it kicks ass. So it is great. The food, a 7. There were high points, there were low points. The shake was absolutely the high point. The cheese wontons were the low point. The other high point, though, would be the smoke and heat drink from Nordstrom. That was absolutely fabulous. The mezcal kicked. The service throughout, you don't get nor expect much service in a food court, but throughout the mall in general, and even the food court, 7, what I will say is those Shake Shack employees were all over the service. I'm assuming it was the manager or the supervisor. He actually was going around the food court and collecting trays from people, helping them with their trash if they had gone to Shake Shack, and even some that didn't, and then taking the trays back to Shake Shack and wiping them down. Like, I saw this whole thing happen while I was eating, and I was like, that's actually pretty damn impressive. But we're going to sit with a 7 for service. Value, the value is going to rest at a 7. There was nothing outrageously priced, but total experience, just a 7. Overall, I gave it a 7.4. Would I meet a friend there? Absolutely. Would I take a date there? Especially if I'm going shopping for something? It's fun. I actually had a lot of fun. It's not necessarily a destination for food, but if you're looking for variety on the flip side, and you're going with kids or friends or whatever you may, or you want different things, it might be the perfect hot stop. This week's Smarter Challenge! Top 3, our favorites of our Kevin Smith movie experience.
So like, there's also the caveat that Jesse said we had to spend 2 hours at the malls.
Oh, yeah.
So I know you already talked about your mall experience a little bit, so you can expand upon it here too, I guess, right? But anyways, to start off, do you want to do movies first, or should we talk about mall experience first? I mean, you already started with mall experience already a little bit, but
However you want to do it.
all right. Well, I guess we'll do mall experience first, since we already kind of like went down that pathway. I know you mentioned that you went to a few shops. There's some stores that I really like, and likewise, unlike you, I need to lose a little bit more weight than 10 pounds. But there's definitely some shops there that really like caught my eye. Like one was Tommy Bahama. I don't actually recall it being there way long time ago, but maybe it was. Then there's like this new like the Psycho Buddy place. I really love like some of the clothing I saw there. One thing that I noticed a lot about Park Meadows, which I don't know if this has always been a thing there, or maybe just now I'm noticing it more as I've gotten older. But it feels like 80% of the mall is either geared towards women and jewelry, and when I say women too, part of that is also like women athletic wear too.
Fashion, athletic wear, yeah.
Yeah. Very minimal having to do with any like men type of fashion stores in there and stuff like that. I do remember like some like when we were younger, and this was a different mall altogether, but there was like stores like that had like Hugo Boss and Versace, and then you see like even Ferragamo, I think might have been another one there. And this was at the Cherry Creek Mall, but they were like there, like you saw more like men's fashion in the windows and stuff like that. And I didn't really notice a whole lot of men's fashion type stuff. I really one of the only ones I saw were that showed men's fashion were the two that I mentioned, like Tommy Bahama and Psycho Bunny. But overall, I found it to be an enjoyable time going back to the mall and hanging out there for a couple hours. Seeing some things there. I went to the Lego store too as well. I was tempted to buy some Lego stuff, but I resisted. And I think one of the main reasons why I resisted is to the very same reasons that you brought up before, is where would I display it? And then I think it's like there's like a secondary thing for me too, is like I have a bad tendency to start projects and not finish them, and so I did not want to buy one of these Lego sets and start it and then like be stuck with a bunch of Legos all over the place. But however, for the Lego, it would be the Red Bull, or even like I honestly like not a big fan of Mercedes, but I did like that Mercedes F1 version that they had. So it would have been like one of those two, probably the Red Bull one, that I would be more than happy. I probably would have finished building it, but I'm not sure how long it would take me to build it, but I probably would finish it. But honestly, that is maybe a future purchase down the road. Anyhow, I really did enjoy seeing some of the things there and some of the new fashions. And my experience, like one of the other things I noticed, like there wasn't like a whole lot of young people there, but that's also probably the day and time that I went. I went on a Monday, right around, I guess it was kind of early because it was like around 10 o'clock, so I got an early lunch and stuff like that. So it was not exactly what I expected. For some reason, I thought I expected to see a lot more traffic and a lot less old people or mature people.
It's the first week of the new fiscal year.
Yeah. Anyways, but overall, cool experience to go back to the mall. There's some really nice, like, there's definitely some nice stores there. It's one of those nights. I would say, as far as malls go, I won't say it's not like Cherry Creek level, but it's also not like the third nipple chick. Had the like psychic abilities that you see in Mallrats either. So it pops out that third nipple, works every time. Anyways, I know you said some of your experience, and you want to share anything else about what you experienced?
If we were going to talk a little bit more about the stores, I also went into Tommy Bahama, and my biggest thing here is just how much some of the stores have even changed over time. Tommy Bahama has great clothing potential and great things. This is definitely not the time to go and buy your next Hawaiian shirt.
It was like 20 degrees outside.
Yeah, but I do enjoy Tommy Bahama. It was fun. The Psycho Bunny always looks good to me. I love some of the colors and the things they do with their clothing. I'm just not so sure about that name. Express was Express. I miss Guess. I Guess did some great things for men and ladies alike. When I was walking the mall perusing, tons of memories came up. Number one, like how sad is it? And I mean this, how different is it? And maybe it's not sad, but how different is it that this new generation, those in school right now, don't get that same experience? Even kids are buying most of their stuff online. And it was so wonderful to go to a mall and shop with friends and get a cookie and get some pretzels, get a drink, have a sandwich, go to a movie. Back in the day, buy some trading cards, play some video games. I guess the best example of this that I can say from our, reminiscing is if you see the malls in the series Stranger Things. Like, it was great. It was fun. It was a blast. Yeah, we caused some mischief. Yeah, we got in the way of the people who were there just to shop. But at the end of the day, it was a learning experience. It was great. It was fun. It was educational, and it wasn't just talking on a phone. It was actually getting out and doing something. And so there's this wonderful piece where it's like, oh man, I hope my kids still have the experience, and they're not young anymore. They're not going to malls just to walk around with friends, but I hope they still get that experience that they're looking for wherever they do it. I love doing it if it's just walking down Broadway or another, the Strip in Las Vegas is like a giant mall. You can spend a week shopping, restaurants, drinks, all the good things. And then there was also like some of the sad memories where it's like, man, being single is interesting. Passing the Victoria's Secret shop, and I shared this with you, man. Like, I was like, man, I love dropping dimes in there. Like $100 bills, yo.
Did you ever get this bottle for you?
Not in the Victoria's Secret. Never even asked. Didn't want to get kicked out of the mall.
I think you can ask him the bottles.
No. Oh God, don't even go there. So there was that, and outside, of course, the mall, there's other restaurants. I've also been to some wonderful experiences there, but there's those pieces of history that are both good and bad, and I know I have a lot more history at the Cherry Creek Mall, which would make me both happy and sad. As far as jewelry and watches and all the great memories and all the things I bought, my daughter probably doesn't think about this ever, but I remember when I was at Neiman Marcus and she was just born, and her first Christmas, she had just recovered from pneumonia, and we were getting pictures taken, and we went to Neiman Marcus and bought her a Ralph Lauren cashmere dress, and I've still got the picture. Little things like that, emerald earrings, all of these things from that mall that, also make me realize a 5-month-old didn't give a shit if she was wearing cashmere Ralph Lauren. I did. I've got the picture. That's what matters to me.
I didn't go to the actual Ralph Lauren store to do that.
They weren't around until after that.
No, they were.
No.
Because they were there when we were both in high school. I remember going to the Ralph Lauren.
Oh, then maybe they didn't have it.
Okay.
I don't know. I just know Neiman Marcus had it. That's where I bought it. That's where we bought it, her mother and I have all those memories still. And I hope, like people still enjoy that piece of the mall where you go and you're just like, that's the one. But I have so many memories from these malls that are they're all appreciated. They all have value. Some are happy. Some are ecstatically happy. Some are a little less like there's a little sorrow like, oh man, the good old days. My daughter, she doesn't like, she's grown up.
I don't know about you. I'm going to interrupt you here real quick, but I'm starting to get more like chocolate maltiness.
Yes, definitely.
And I'm like,
Just needed some time to open. But I really enjoyed that experience. And as I shared with you, I was there for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it did not feel like 2 hours and 45 minutes. And one of the only reasons I actually left, I would have stayed and gotten more food because I was starting to get hungry again. But one of the reasons I left is because I just didn't want to deal with rush hour traffic, which is another reality.
that is a whole other reality. I had to leave when I was there because I had to get back to work. I took some PTO to get my car fixed, and then I had some extra time to utilize. So I used it during that to go do our little like 2-hour thing, and but yeah, I had to get back to it, so like I didn't play hooky too long.
But just think about how great it was, and it was mostly in summers. How great it was, even in high school, even while we were in college, we still visited the mall.
Oh yeah,
all of those times. I remember when we were in college and I went to the mall and there was the Bernini store and I went and bought my first like Hugo Boss suit. It was not my first suit.
was that the blue one?
Yeah.
I thought you actually got that from the Hugo Boss store.
No, it was Bernini. The Bernini Beverly Hills. Yeah.
I didn't know you got it from there. I thought for some reason I thought you got it from the Hugo Boss.
Yeah, no, it was my first like super expensive suit that was featured in GQ magazine.
Didn't you get the like one of the Versace silk shirts there at the Versace store?
I got all sorts of things. And yeah, I used to spend retarded money.
Like, sorry, like I know we're going on whole different trying here.
We used to go to Ralph Lauren all the time. You more than me.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, you would go to like places like Versace and stuff like that, but I was pretty consistent. I used to just pretty much go to Ralph Lauren. But yeah, like we go to the mall together there at Cherry Creek, and you go to like my two main spots were Ralph Lauren or Neiman Marcus, and yours was like seemed like it was like all over
Neiman Marcus and then everywhere else. No, but see, that's the thing. You talked about this earlier. Back then, it was almost a 50-50 split, men and women.
Yeah,
like men had a choice, and it was fun, and it was great, and I don't know why that stopped.
against three states.
Good saying, yes. Best escalator ride ever.
I thought it was when we were looking at ties.
It was. Oh, but yeah, so great, and I
think that's when I got my Ferragamo tie.
was yours the giraffes or the elephants?
It had giraffes and elephants.
Oh, okay.
It was the red tie giraffes.
Shit, I remember that. I thought it was one or the other. No, I didn't realize it was both. But I knew there was I knew it was at least one of them.
Yeah, it had giraffes and elephants on
Dude,
it.
that's sweet. I still have my Ferragamo ties. I love Ferragamo. They have a sweet ass. We're going on tangents. Valentine's Day one right now.
You know?
Yeah. But with all of these things, like the mall experience, like when we would do that, hey, we weren't just going to the mall. We were shopping. We were seeing a movie. We spent we saw Schindler's List in that theater.
Even back then, I think that was the only place where you could get like Panda Express was in the mall.
It might have been, and the food was amazing. There's the Sparrow pizza, everything we wanted. It was there.
I don't remember it's been such a long time, but I don't remember what kind of food was in the food court there at Cherry Creek.
It was a teeny food court.
It was because I think most of it was kind of like how I think Jason Lee's character talks about it's like the food's like in everywhere outside the designated area.
Yeah. But man, what a great experience growing up. So much fun coming back and just like literally thinking about like these things all cross my mind, like the heartbreaks. I remember when I went and bought my Armani shirt at Neiman Marcus, and they pressed it for me so I could go ask and propose. And
I could be wrong in this, but I know your groomsmen gifts were Armani black bow ties.
Neiman Marcus.
I was about to say those came from Neiman Marcus, right?
I still have mine upstairs with the
I saw
they
mine.
still on it. We need to put those back to work. Not for a wedding.
No, not for a wedding. Hey, no, I've seen that. Anyways, top three Kevin Smith movies.
All right. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. We'll just kind of ramble these off. I guess unless you want to give an explanation.
No.
But my number three is Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. And here, this is going out a little bit on the limb because I wasn't able to really revisit this movie. But I do remember when I saw it, I liked it a lot and I laughed a lot. And it also is kind of like it picks up some parts from like the Chasing Amy movie and some of the other movies. And I love how I brought in some of that old stuff there because the movie producers were going to make so it was
Sonic and Bluntman.
yeah, Chronic and Bluntman movie or a cartoon movie, and they wanted their royalty rights, and that was all based off of the comic book that was created in Chasing Amy, and so they went on their wild ride to go exact revenge with the Hollywood producers or whatever the people were.
Where's my motherfucking movie check?
Exactly. And then going after the critics and stuff like that who didn't like the movie. It was a fun ride. It was kind of a cool, like how they. One thing that Kevin Smith does with, like, I guess this universe, if you will, or whatever, this world, like, because a lot of his movies are interconnected, is how he brings in those kind of like the jokes or callbacks to like other movies. And if you hadn't seen all the other movies, like some of like the comments that they would make may not make as much sense or might not be as funny as unless you saw like the whole like gambit of movies that go together. And because of that, like James and Bob was a little bit later on down the road, I kind of like really enjoyed that part of it.
All right, now here's a question. Are these movies he produced, or could he have written and been involved in them?
Well, I went with all
Produced,
No, I went with all the movies that he directed.
directed. Okay.
But you can choose whatever. I didn't put any stipulation, so you can do it however you want to go about.
I'll bring up my other one when we do our honorable mention at the end.
Okay.
And this is really interesting because neither of us got a chance to revisit all of the movies.
No, we did.
We each revisited some. And what I found is myself asking myself, what is a great movie? What is it that makes a movie great? Now, do I want something that's just uplifting? Maybe yes, maybe no. In which case, I'm watching a comedy. Do I want a movie that's educational? Maybe. Do I want something that's more nonfiction, that's real? And I think all of those pieces do play an important role in a movie that means a lot. You know, Kingdom of Heaven isn't the happiest of movies, but it is a phenomenal movie.
True.
And with that being said, as I was thinking about this, if I was just to pick the happy-go-lucky movies, this one would have never made the list. But because I'm picking like his best movies, the movies that really impacted me the most, and this probably should actually rate higher because of that, but my number 3 is going to be Chasing Amy.
See, now we put all those other stipulations in there. This one that one should have made my list, and it did because I don't like how it made me feel.
Dude, it is not a feel-good movie. So Chasing Amy, 1997, and you, of course, have Ben Affleck, and, oh man, I'm going to
This
probably...
character is so naive and dumb.
Joey Lawrence Adams are the main characters in here, but Jason Lee is his buddy, and I love this movie because it is so real. And being fully honest with myself and fully transparent, I hate this movie, watching this movie, because I see Ben Affleck's characters. His character has all of these. He plays Holden, and I understand all of his insecurities because I've had them when I was younger, and I hate that. But I love the movie because it reminds me. That's why that hardening, so to speak, the Highlander is going to come back in another episode. The hardening, and we're not talking about an erection this time, is so important. Is because you need friends, and this is where Jason Lee's character Banky, he spells it out, and this is 3/4 through the movie. There's a sit down, and Jason Lee says, "This ends poorly. This doesn't end well." And Holden, Ben Affleck's character, is like, "Hey, don't worry about the comic book. That'll be good." He's like, "I wasn't talking about the comic book." And he spells it out, and there's only 20, maybe 15 minutes left of the movie at this point. I actually rewatched it twice because I'm like, yeah, I need to try to figure this out. And it's tragic because it's so flipping real. It's like heartbreaking.
It is, and you and I had a discussion about that
For several.
because it's like Jason Lee's character was Brody.
Oh,
Did
Banky. Sorry, Banky.
Banky. Did he do it on purpose? And if he did it on purpose, did he mean to be vengeful with it, or was he meaning to do it to protect his friend? And when you really start breaking it down, I honestly believe he did it to protect his friend, but because he did it, I think it almost made it like into a self-prophecy that caused it to really happen. But one could also say, like, that information would come out anyways later on in life, and then maybe the end conclusion would still be the same, and all he did was fast forward it, if you will. And I'm not sure if if there was extra time involved, if she would have had time to say that to him and share that with him, and because of that extra exposure time with them being together, they would have had like a greater foundation. Maybe he would not have reacted the same. I don't know, but what he did definitely pushed up timelines, and even though he was being protective of his friend, I think at the same time it was detrimental to his friend and caused a huge rift with everybody.
Yeah, what Banky does, and this is something...
He was selfish too. Yeah.
So that's exactly where it goes in, is Banky was selfish in the sense that he wanted to be right. And so he pushed the point, you can't handle this. She's had more experience than you, otherworldly experiences you haven't. You will never understand this. This doesn't, like, you can't handle this.
This will not end well because you can't handle it.
Right, but beyond that, what he then created and forced was he wanted to be right so bad.
And he planted that seed, and I think that's what causes all the issues.
It is. He wanted to be right so bad that if he wanted to be the good friend, because I do think he wanted to be the good friend in saying, hey, you need to know this, but he wanted to be right, and he was selfish in wanting to be right, that he's like, blah, 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 blah. And if he wanted to do the right thing as a friend, he would have gone to Alyssa, Joey Lawrence Adams' character, and said, you need to tell him you've got 3 days or I will. Yeah. And then she could have found a time, hopefully, within 72 hours to be like, hey, I need to tell you something that may rock your world, but I want you to hear it from me. And I actually do think he may have been able to. It would have still fucking hurt. It probably still would have ended the same, but he may have been able to handle that.
I don't know, man.
Because otherwise he was wrong.
I'll tell you this. to be Binky.
Banky.
To be Banky and be in his position to tell a friend something, it's tough to even be in that position.
Right, but if you just tell it and then you don't do anything else, here are the facts, just need you to walk
but
away.
You know how hard that position is.
Right, but you've done it for me, but the way you did it was right. You didn't push the fact that you can't handle this, you need to end this. You didn't do any of that. You laid the facts down and walked away from the conversation after that so that I could process it and deal with it. That's the difference. That's where Banky failed because he could have gone two different directions.
That's why I relate to his character because I was like,
it's probably also one of the reasons you hate the movie. I hate the movie because I can 100% relate about Holden's character and about being insecure about shit like that. Now I'm just like, wait a minute, you suck 33 dicks? I'm out.
there's 37 dicks, including you.
Yeah. Probably just suck a dick on your way out. but I've been there when I was young, and I'm just like,
that was Clerks, by the way.
Yeah, I can't. I was broken. I was so insecure. I mean, that's that hardening piece too, where I hate it. And I think that, you sent me some things on Instagram that I've talked to about men and how we're raised by men who don't themselves know how to deal with feelings and taking care of themselves spiritually and mentally, psychologically. And so what we do though get is a man who absolutely provides and does the basics. And so we do the same. And it's that piece where, unfortunately, almost always too late in life, we finally learn these other pieces about, okay, like, calm down. And that's one of the reasons I think my son is like a better man than I'll ever be, and he's 19, is because I actually think how he is so secure and, Christian, but his faith in life, not just God, but his faith, which is because of the Lord. I pray it never gets shaken, and he's just stronger, I think, at 19 than I would ever have been. It's amazing to me.
Awesome. That is awesome. All right. I think we went a little bit of a tear there.
Well,
my number 2 is Mallrats.
All right. Also my number 2.
Here, some of it's about like nostalgia. Also, I love the music that they played in there.
Great music.
It brought up some things like I totally forgot about, like those stupid pop up pictures where the guy should try to see the sailboat in the 3D type of picture thing. There's a lot of fun things that went on in that show, but yet it also had a great message there about if you have a partner and stuff, or but it was to me it was great times. They made some callbacks to other previous movies, and so it was a really fun movie to watch again. And once again, like I said, the nostalgia factor was a big play in this one, as why it was number 2.
Yes, in this movie, Jason Lee plays Brody. In the other one,
yes,
that's the name difference there. And in this movie, a couple pieces also 90210. Shannon Doherty's in here.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Surprise, introduction.
Plays a different guy.
Yeah,
he plays the asshole from Fashionable Male.
Yeah, which is hilarious. And
back then, Bell stores.
Yeah, all over the place. It was a big deal. We had so much. And the other one about this movie is, and I thought she was absolutely amazing. Not that she isn't now, but we're talking about this movie came out in 95, so 2 years before Chasing Amy, and it had Claire, and I always Forlani, I think is her name, Claire Forlani. She played Brandy, the girlfriend.
Okay. What's her name?
Of not, and this is where Jeremy London played T.S. Quint. But she's the one who's on the talk show, and her dad's the bald guy, and then the stink palm and
Yeah.
everything else. But yeah, this movie also absolutely fabulous from the standpoint of relationships, and this movie reminds me of all the times I went to malls with young ladies when I was younger, including Annette. And I was just, like, as far as all the people, and she worked in the mall at one point, of all the people that I went to malls with that were female, she was one of the funnest. And I think that's just because, like, to her, it was just business.
All right. Number one. There's only one number one.
I'm guessing it's the same for both of us. After we talked about it, I think it's a lot of the same reasons.
I didn't know that was going to be your number one. But my number one is Clerks.
Also my number one.
And really, I think it's more about the conversations that happen in Clerks about, like, you have, like, there's a big, huge, like, delve into, like, Empire Strikes Back versus Return of the Jedi. There's views about, like, relationships and, like, how talking about, like, past relationships while you're in your current relationship to figure out, like what your current significant other, like, what they did in the past, and, like, and how it may or may not bother you. 36 dicks versus 37 dicks of being sucked, and not sucking any
36
dicks,
is okay.
and not sucking any dicks out to the parking lot, and how she knows, like, some guy, like, snowballing or whatever. And then, like, honestly, I think one of the biggest things that I can relate to in this movie, and it's not so much apparent now as it was when I was younger, but I used to, like, I can almost relate to, like, the whole clerk thing because I used to work retail and I managed a liquor store and stuff like that when I was younger. So working retail, managing a liquor store, some of the things that they talk about when they talk about customers and how you see, like, when customers come in and stuff like that, and all that makes it so much more relatable.
17 quality.
And it's just like, it is such a great movie, and like, some of the conversations that they have in the movie are timeless. I think. Yeah, I don't think it matters, like, how old the movie is. It's in black and white. You're not really, like, things aren't as dated. Like, there's still quickie marts around and stuff like that, or 7-Elevens, if you will.
Quickie.
But I think there's just the way those conversations were built in, how customers relate to clerks and stuff like that, and you even brought it up earlier when you were talking about Mrs. Field. Like, there's still that point where you have, like, those shitty ass workers who say they get, like, they, like, get their position, and then they come back, like, way later than they say, and they're all pissed off because there's a line there. Like, you get that whole same sense in Clerks as you did, like, what you just experienced. And so it's just like, I don't know if you said Mallrats that or Clerks, but it was definitely a Clerks experience. You probably did some Clerks. I just don't remember.
No, I said Mallrats just because, like, it's the mall.
Oh, okay.
But it's that whole thing where, like, just people are people.
Yeah. And so it's great. I just love it. It just, there's also the nostalgia factor. And honestly, the movie score to that movie is also great, in my opinion. So that's why it's my number one.
Yeah, for me, it's very similar to yours. The conversations, yes, but the conversations because, like, it reminds me about being humble, about being patient, and about being genuine. Those are three great qualities. Now, this movie may appear, if you watch it, and it can be definitely offensive, especially if you are easily offended by foul language and questionable conversation. But it's guys being guys.
Oh, yeah.
And in a sense, it's kids being kids. There is absolute stupidity, but it is essentially harmless, except for the gal who fucks a dead guy.
That
That's
doesn't-
up in
that's what I'm trying to do. So you know that chick that fucked the dick.
Hence, Mallrats was before Chasing Amy. Mallrats is referenced in Chasing Amy before she ended up in the insane asylum. But with that, it's absolutely dynamite. I loved the conversations, and here's the thing: there are absolutely extremes in this show. But the truth of the matter is, girls are girls, guys are guys. Every girl I've known is like, yeah, the ones that are honest with me are like, yeah, our conversations are far more sexual, explicit, detailed, all these things than your guy conversations. Clerks is the one that kind of on a different stadium on a different playing field kind of explains to women like, let's be honest, this is what young men talk about. This is the crap young men talk about. Guess what? Nobody got hurt.
Well, and there is at one point where
It's supposed to be my day off.
yeah, well, where the videotape guy, the guy who works in the video store, he tells like the guy's current girlfriend like he's into that his buddy's still into his ex-girlfriend. And once again, that total betrayal of a friend, he's just looking out for his buddy. And regardless of like how it comes out at the time, this shows this true nature of guys. He's pissed off at his buddy for tying, like exposing him like that, but yet they fight, and then afterwards they're like, "All right, fuck it, dude.
Let's go get a burger.
Yeah, let's go get a burger." And that's what you guys are like. All right, yeah, you fucked up. I don't like what you did, but you know what? We'll do fisticuffs, and when we're done, we're done.
Fisticuffs, no.
Fisticuffs. Fight.
I know what you mean. I'm just referencing again Chasing Amy.
Oh yeah, not that kind.
Oh man. But I really appreciate this piece of a bunch of guys giving each other a hard time. And this is part of that steel strength in steel. Is you take it, it's honest, it's brutal, but guess what? Your friends, and most people don't want to hear this, your friends giving you those fucking hard times and beating your ass up, and then the next day everything's okay again. That's all they're doing. They're like preparing you for the real world, because guess what? We're still friends, and if you can't take this, wait until your boss or your coworker or your girlfriend or someone else in this world that you weren't expecting it from does that to you. That will tear you up. For me, I prepared you, and now you can be like, no, stop, not okay.
Exactly. All right. If you want to give your honorable mention, I guess this is the time. Mine is going to be Kevin Smith's adventure into horror with the movie called Tusk.
Yes, the vampire one, the black or African vampire.
This is one where this guy goes, I forget how he goes there, but he ends up getting captured by some dude who like makes him into a human walrus.
Oh, that doesn't sound pleasant.
Now, it's almost kind of like the Human Centipede movie, but it's with basically this guy being turned into a walrus. And it's fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know if I need to see that.
It's a good horror movie. But yeah, it's pretty messed up. So I put that as my honorable mention because it's the outside of Kevin Smith's norm. And it is like a total messed up movie. And honestly, the closest thing I can compare it to is the Human Centipede movies.
Yeah, I never saw that.
Well, if you haven't, I don't know which one's more like mentally disturbing. Probably the Human Centipede one.
For sure. I don't want anyone else's feces.
Done by Jeremy.
Guess what? You're sixth in line. That's been shat out 6 times.
You probably, no, not that you probably, you are correct on this assumption.
All right, for me, my honorable mention is Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
Oh, that was a good movie too.
I actually think it was like very real again.
It was.
But 2008 is when this one come out, and it is classified as a sex comedy film.
Is that with Rachel McAdams?
No,
Or the other one looks like Rachel McAdams?
Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah. But Tracy Lords has the role in this one. She has a role in it.
Tracy Lords says? Oh, I don't remember that movie.
She looks far more mature.
Okay.
But Zach and Miri make a porno. Again, so I guess this is something worth mentioning. Kevin Smith, born in 1970. He's had a full life. In 2018, guy almost died right after he did a comedy show. February 20th, 2018, has a massive heart attack, total blockage in his, I think it was his lower left artery. It's like there's the aorta, but then there's like arteries to each of the ventricles, and it was the lower left, I think. But guy almost dies. He had lost 50 pounds. His doctor tells him to lose another 50 pounds. Other things go on. Kevin Smith's lived a full life. He's married he's been married for over 25 years now, which is amazing. It's of the things I'm jealous of people, that is one, is these people who didn't fail where I'm like, I have failed in life. That's one of my real true.
Yeah, that's failed in life.
That is a failure in my life. But regardless,
no, your success comes in your kids. You're not failed in your life.
Oh man, they are. But I wasn't alone on that. So that I'm just part of that, and I'm so glad I'm part of that.
If you're gonna measure failure and success, the way your two children have turned out says that you are a success.
Oh, well, thank you. I do appreciate that. They don't know this. I don't think, no matter how many times I tell them, they are my pride and joy, and they are actually the ones, and I've shared this with them and you, and literally most people, they are the ones that make me want to be a better human being, a better man.
Success.
Yeah, but Zach and Miri, this piece though is just like super mature movie again, but it's also that off comedy where the guy goes to the coffee counter, is like, I want a coffee, or he's like, what can I get for you? Coffee, black. Why's it gotta be black? White. Great movie, real tragic, all these different things. Again, largely about relationships. But that's life. It's about, you got to work and you got to grind. And as a man, we hide almost all of our pain and our fear. And that's the truth, is I don't ever want my kids to really know all the sacrifices I made and the things I did to make sure they didn't go without, even though they rightfully want more. Zach and Miri is another one of those examples, much like Clerks and Mallrats and Chasing Amy, is this piece about it's hard being a man. It's not just hard being a lady, it's hard being a man too. But that's my honorable mention. I love this movie. That, of all of them, if you want to go see and you're not worried about a little bit of like sexual innuendos, and I don't think there's actually any nudity in it.
I don't recall if there is.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Lots of talk about, though. Regardless, that of all these movies is probably the least offensive.
Well, the only thing I was gonna wrap up with here is that film and society, right? Like, if you guys are obviously, if you've subscribed to us, we review multiple movies, but when we do this, it's and we're analyzing these movies, or we're discussing like what we get out of these movies. Films or movies reflect our society, and so it is a very good depiction of like where we were, where we are, where we're going, in society, and then also some of it also even like projects or even like plants a seed of things that we might find offensive in the real world that will become true, that we'll see. So, in any case, finishing up there, I just want to thank everyone who's watched us to this point. If you like what we do, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave some comments down below about any of the Kevin Smith movies that you enjoy, as well as just if you ever tried this Canmore 12yr. Let us know what you think about that, and then and I know I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but at this point, I'm gonna pass it over to Jesse so he can tell us a couple of things. One, what are we gonna talk about next week? And two, he's gonna let us know some very important nuggets that we need to know as we go into the next week.
Just remember, life is great. That does not mean it's going to be easy. So remember to enjoy the good times and take the bad times with the greatest salt, because that salt is what we add to those good times to make some of that much better. Next week's Smarter Challenge. 2026 Dracula. Another rendition is hitting theaters this weekend.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
How did this miss my radar?
I don't know, but I think this one may be more romantic than not, which I think all of them are intended to be, but I think this one may focus more on that.
Who's even in this movie? I have not seen a single preview. What the F, dude?
I think it's more like a British
And it's hitting the theaters this upcoming week?
yeah, it's in theaters starting tomorrow.
What the
I
F?
think it's tomorrow. Maybe I don't think it's.
No, like honestly, like I'm usually pretty up to date on freaking movies and vampires.
But so it's the new Dracula is our Smarter Challenge, and then just
No idea.
bringing that bringing that around and really like thinking about. Here's the thing: is
I'm so excited right now.
I am too. No, so it's two-part. You know, there's going to be a damn good Scotch that goes with Dracula, but there's two parts here:
Okay.
Dracula, and then really, what is it we want from Dracula and his story? Like one thing for me is I absolutely want to know he actually put all those people on pig poles. I actually absolutely want to know he was really that romantic that he was willing to wait if it took centuries to get his love back.
Vlad the Impaler killing all the freaking illegal aliens. Just joking. I like misreading history there.
Technically, they had invaded his country, so you're not wrong. We're going to go there, right? Just like Billie Eilish. Oh, no one's, yeah, I can't believe she said that. But I get it. You can think that. You make yourself the problem. Like you make yourself, like how is someone, and I mean this genuinely, how is someone so talented, so gifted, so smart, also so fucking stupid to say that?
Because she is ordered to say that. Dude, the so-called musical slash Hollywood slash political elites, they've all made a deal with the devil, and they've killed kids. They're black.
Dude, I literally,
They are all forced to say what they need to be forced by their handlers.
when she made her comments, I literally went to my,
Her handler made her say that.
that's fine. When she made those comments, I was so disappointed. Because she can feel that way again, but don't do you know what I'm talking about?
Talking about
At the Emmys, her conversation, what she said at the end.
like stolen land and stuff like that.
Not just the stolen land, but how she ended it.
Maybe not.
Okay, F ice.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's fine to feel that way. It's not okay to put yourself above all these people while you're the one that's doing the injustice and taking all these gifts for granted.
So kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio, where it says like you need to like be carbon conscious, and then he flies on private jets.
Yeah. Most of the world.
You talking about like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. it was just very disappointing. I deleted all of her songs from my Apple Music. I literally, because I had a shit ton of them, and I literally deleted them all. I'm like, you know what? You are so talented. You are so gifted. I appreciate you so much for helping me through pieces of life where I loved your music, and now I don't want to hear it again.
We're already like way beyond our normal time frame. But since you just brought that up, and I'm gonna go on diatribe here, but or a tangent, if you will. This goes along with a lot of things. I think you can still appreciate someone's music or appreciate someone's art, even when you disagree with them. I get that you don't want to like pay or support for because of what they express. I'll put this for as an example. When you look at damn, I just forgot his name. The guy who plays in Born Identity and all that.
Matt Damon?
Matt Damon. Super liberal guy. I hate his political views. But I love his artistic work in film. I love what he does there. I can still, and this took me a while though. I had to learn to separate his work from him as a person. I can still appreciate his work and watch his movies and find enjoyment in the work that he does. But at the same time, I can still dislike him as a person.
It's not about dislike with her.
But I don't think you should have like deleted all of her songs, because if you enjoyed her songs and her work, you can still appreciate that. But at the same time,
where I don't like what she did is she literally, as I previewed it, went anti-America.
I get that, and I don't like her for that. But if you like her music, you can still enjoy her music.
I absolutely hear what you're saying. I absolutely hear what you're saying.
And this is really difficult, though.
But she wants the securities that America gives her, but she's not willing to support ICE. So
Yeah.
that's my struggle. So I
get the struggle.
I sever ties.
I think this is a whole nother like great topic to talk about, because like I get that. I really do. Like there's like musical artists and actors and stuff like that, like, and how they really do. They hate America. They like
Get out.
they want to destroy America. And and them as people, I don't like them as human. Maybe I don't like them for that.
Right.
But yet, the pieces of work that they've done, I totally appreciate. And it's really hard. And I get this, because and I think this is where I draw the line. Like if I pay for a service, like let's say Apple Music, if I pay for a service, they allow me to listen to like all kinds of music from all different artists. And I guess this is where I make the difference at. Like if I pay for like HBO Max, I feel okay watching something from Matt Damon. However, I'm not going to go out of my way to purchase a Matt Damon film, because I know he makes royalties either way.
Right.
But I'm not going to like give him greater royalties from buying that movie. And then with music, like Apple TV, like she's going to make royalties if you listen to her music from listening to it on Apple TV. But if you go and actually buy the album, she makes a bigger maybe royalty check there. So I would say, like in this case, it's okay to hate her, not buy the actual album. But if you're on Apple Music, you can still listen to her music. Instead of like just being a total bombshell, like "fuck you, bitch." Although she does deserve the whole "fuck you, bitch."
Yeah, I'm not doing the FUB, but I'm just like,
But
she's 25 now.
she knows better.
That's my point. Like as a kid, if she was 18 and she said that, that's one thing. But and she's female, so she's like the equivalent of a male 45. We talked about that too. Women all agree until they don't want to. And with that piece, she's so mature, she's gone the other way. And it's just like, okay, so if you don't want to be here, if you don't want these things, that's fine. Don't take for granted any firefighter, any police officer, any military officer, whether or not you agree with what they were directed to do. Do not take for granted the fact that they fought for us, for our freedom, for our country, for our rights. They followed their chief commander. They did what they were told to do. Do not take any of that for granted. And when she fucking ends her speech with "fuck ICE," I can't. Like, I no longer respect that, because that is literally the opposite of who I will give a shout out to now at this point at the end of the show, Jelly Roll. And with
Jelly Roll was a fucking man, dude.
God,
How you like sat there and spoke about Christ, and he's even like, hey, they might take me off for this, and he fucking played out his whole thing, which honestly I thought that was very surprising.
it was beautiful. And that's it. I don't know what else.
Yeah. Well, before we go like too much further into like,
Remember, life is great. It's not always going to be easy. The bad times make the good times that much better. And remember, please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Next week's Smart Challenge, Dracula. And what do we really want from Dracula? And until then, Scotchman. Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.